For those of you looking to get into night vision on an extremely low budget of $200 or less, good night vision can be found, but there can be an overwhelming amount of options to sift through online, and there's definitely some pros and cons that you should be aware of, along with a basic understanding of these devices and what their limitations are. And we've tested out dozens of different night vision devices here on the channel, and the sub $200 options that seem to pop up time and time again are the Night Operators Max 2.0, which you've probably seen on YouTube Shorts or TikTok, and it currently sells for about $180. The Nightfox Prowl, which was also very popular on YouTube last year, and it sells for about $200. And finally the NVG40, which is one of the newest digital night vision binoculars in this price range, and it's also the cheapest one of the bunch, coming in at about $165. Today we're going to be checking out their features and testing them out side by side so you can draw your own conclusions about which you think is the best one for you. A big thank you to all you guys who are already subscribed to the channel, and also those of you who support me through Goodnight Gear Shop. And before we get any further, smash the like button if you like night vision, and make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with the latest in digital night vision technology. These three binoculars are all about the same size, and the build quality is pretty similar, but the Night Operator seems to be the most poorly made, and the buttons on the device are really small and tough to operate. The objective lens adjustments on the NVG40 and the Prowl have a much more solid feeling than the Max 2.0, and with the NVG40 and the Prowl you can also adjust the rear diopter, which is a nice feature too, but you can't do that on the Max 2.0. None of these units have batteries that are easily removed, with the exception of the Prowl, but you will need a screwdriver. But all the devices do have USB-C ports for charging and can be powered externally while charging, which does open you up to running an external power supply like this power bank that I picked up on Amazon, which can extend the runtime of these devices and also be used as a counterweight, which is not a bad way to go if you plan to run these as part of a helmet setup. All of these binoculars can be handheld or mounted to a helmet, and they all include some kind of adapter which will allow you to either directly connect to the helmet or a head strap like the Night Operators Max 2.0, or connect into an L4 G24 style mount like the Prowl or the NVG40, which is a slightly better mounting system that's going to allow for more rapid adjustments. All of these devices can be configured to run as a binocular setup with various aftermarket mounts and accessories like the Wild Game Plus bridge, which will work with the Night Operators Max 2.0 and also the NVG40, and Nightfox also makes a proprietary bridge for the Prowl, so those of you looking for a more immersive experience with better depth perception can find what you need. The Night Operators Max 2.0 has the most simple UI of the bunch, and all you can do is just adjust the screen brightness, turn on and off the IR light, and power on and off the device. But with the Nightfox Prowl and the NVG40, there are a lot more settings in the menu, like digital zoom, video recording capabilities, and multiple viewing modes. Here's a look through the viewing screens, and they all have circular style screens, and the field of view on the Prowl is the widest, followed closely behind by the Night Operators Max 2.0 and then the NVG40, which is more compact. Frame rates on the NVG40 and the Night Operators are higher at around 60 frames per second, and the downside of the Prowl is that it runs at about 20 FPS, which is noticeable when things start to speed up, and from time to time I have had issues with the Prowl freezing and crashing, even with the firmware updated to the latest version. All of these devices do have IR lighting, and for those of you that aren't familiar with that, IR lighting is produced by a small LED on the front of the device, and the cool thing about it is that it's invisible to the naked eye, which is great because you can use these devices to see in the dark without other people seeing you. But the downside to IR lighting is that when you are running it, it is visible to other people running night vision, so depending on your use case and whether or not this is important to you, your decision on which of these devices to go with might be affected. In this photo there is a supplemental IR lighting present, but when I turn it off we can see that it significantly impacts the performance of these devices, and with the Nightfox Prowl and the Night Operators Max 2.0 we've pretty much gone completely dark, but with the NVG40 we've still got a decent image here, and it's much better than any other device in this price range. I'm not trying to mislead anybody here into thinking that these devices are in any way a substitute or in competition with analog night vision, which is significantly more expensive, and in general the more that you're willing to step up in price, the better the low light no IR performance is going to get, and this would be one of the biggest advantages to an analog PVS-14, which will have incredible low light performance, zero latency, excellent run times, and a very wide field of view. But for those of you willing to go up to the $500 range, there are some better options out there like the NVG30 or the NVG50, which will run very well with no IR lighting as long as there's a little bit of moonlight or ambient lighting available. Night Operators is very disadvantaged disingenuous in some of their video marketing efforts, as they conveniently omit the fact that their night vision is running IR lighting while performing their test comparison videos, and also significantly misquoting the price of analog to make it seem much more attainable and less capable than it actually is. In my videos, I strive to be as fair as possible with regards to the true performance of these devices under different conditions and show what they're capable of and where they might fall short to analog. Now that you've seen what these units can do, I'll leave you with some of my final thoughts. If you're not concerned about running an IR illuminator and you want to be able to run the monocular for fast-paced tasks involving movements, the Night Operators Max 2.0 is pretty good for the price. The UI is a bit disappointing, and so is the build quality, but you are going to have to make sacrifices here at this price point. If keeping a low IR signature is more important to you and you plan to use the device for airsoft or home defense or some other application where you're worried about having an IR signature, then the NVG40 is a great way to go. Due to the more compact field of view, it's going to be a bit tougher to navigate with, but for static use cases, this device is going to do a great job, and the video recording capability is also quite good. If you're just looking to have a bit of fun and want something that's versatile, then the Prowl is a good way to go. And the field of view is really nice, and so is the video recording, but just be aware that in my experience the lag was pretty bad, and the freezing I experienced multiple times makes me hesitant to recommend it for airsoft or shooting sports. But if you want to use it to hike or have a bit of fun, if you can afford to have the device freeze up on you and become unoperational until the battery dies. Keep in mind that this is just my experience with the Prowl, and your actual experience might be different, but a lot of people have mentioned the lag and the slow frame rate as being issues at the very least. At the end of the day, you can still get into night vision for under $200 and have a lot of fun with it, but hopefully after watching this video you can get a little bit better educated about what you're getting into for this price point. Digital night vision technology is catching up with analog, and there are a lot of great new and exciting digital night vision devices on the horizon, so it's a very fast changing and exciting space to keep up with. Anyone interested in picking up these sub $200 night vision devices and supporting the channel can check out my affiliated links down below, and there's also a coupon code which you can use to save 10% off on my website Goodnight Gear, which makes the price of the NVG40 a little bit better. Let us know which of these units you've tested out down in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the latest in digital night vision.